even for the American medical school students, there's a lack of logic in their academic writing. Hi, in this talk, we invite Professor Whitaker to discuss what we might really need to care about when writing academic research paper as non-native English speakers. Professor Whitaker is previously the editor-in-chief of Lasers in Medical Science and was most recently the associate editor of the Journal of Cardiovascular Pharmacology and Therapeutics, and has also served on the editorial boards of many medical science journals. He has also been an author of more than 100 peer-reviewed papers and has been an invited speaker at numerous international medical conferences. Welcome, Professor Whitaker.
Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you. So there are several myths about writing in English when it's not your mother language. You feel less confident, you doubt you could write it as good as native speakers. That's not necessarily true. And if you have that in mind, that's the real hindrance to your writing. 我们和英语使用者其实是在学术写作上差不多站在同一个起跑线的 So don't worry.
So yeah, I think the point that I'd want to get across is don't worry if you're Chinese or Japanese or whatever. That isn't the biggest problem. The biggest issue is how you think. Get your thoughts down on paper. At that stage, don't worry about the English, worry about the logic.
So what do you think is the biggest problem if you have to name one to write academic papers?
Practice.
What if we've got no time?
I mean, this could be like an hour. I mean, when we were talking about it.
Yeah. Now I can understand how much it means by just the word practice, because from my experience studying at Oxford, I was almost forced to write thousands of words all by myself. It really opened a new world for me, and now I even like English writing. Can we use ChatGPT if we've got the ideas prepared?
I think it depends. You just say to ChatGPT, here's my data, write the paper for me. That journals are going to reject that, or if they catch you.
So that's based on your explicit about using ChatGPT.
So some journals have in their instructions to authors, it will say something like, if you have used generative AI to do anything in this paper, you have got to disclose what you used it for and how you used it. Personally, I think if you give ChatGPT the data and say, write me a paper on the effect of this drug on this antihypertensive therapy, here's the data, write me the paper, that is absolutely the wrong thing to do, because you're not really contributing to the writing.
But how about we use, there are prompt framework.
So what I think, again, personally, you've got to see what the journal instructions say.
Yes.
But personally, I would not have a problem with someone who has written a paper and they're not confident about their English, so they put it into ChatGPT and say, could you please correct the English? Then I don't think that is a bad thing to do. Get your thoughts down on paper. At that stage, don't worry about the English, worry about the logic. Then you can go back and tidy up the English. So I think it's a two-step process. Everybody has their own style of writing. What I like to do is get something down on paper. It makes me feel as though I've made progress, even if it's very bad. And honestly, some of the stuff I write is horrible. And I speak English. The most important thing in scientific work is, first of all, is it logical? Is it reasonable? Then, is it in a communicatable form? Is it easy to read? Is it clear, the message that you're sending?
So to keep in mind that the reader, yes, is intelligent, but probably not in your field.
Right.
So there's a KISS rule.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Keep it simple and stupid. But
No,
not stupid.
Stupid.
Doesn't mean stupidity.
No, it's telling you, keep it simple, stupid boy. Or just, you could do it kiss with one S, keep it simple.
So grab every chance you have to practice your writing, especially if you are just starting your career or before your career. For example, you are still a medical school student. You have plenty of time to practice academic writing.
Don't assume that the first thing that you write is what you need to then send in to be read by the reviewers. Change it.
Yeah, and there's a Chinese idiom, 一气呵成, which means good writing is written in just one attempt. So that's often wrong and impossible.
One of the important writing skills is to find a kind colleague that is willing to help you.
Yes.
That is a priceless thing to have.
So the takeaway message here is to build that relationship from now on and be reciprocal. Yes, they help you and you can offer to help them.
Right, and that's obviously that being reciprocal is just good manners. We've had in our lab many fellows from Europe, from Asia, who weren't native English speakers, and some of them could write and some of them couldn't. And the main differentiator there was how they thought logically. I would ask them to write a draft of a paper or an abstract, and when I first would be reading it, I'm not expecting the English to be perfect, no. But if I can understand what they're thinking and how they organized it, then that is what I'm looking for. What is going to be a lot harder to help with, and is definitely not going to be for free, is to help in the organization of your brain. If you present good science in an organized, logical fashion, that is the most important thing. Anybody is capable of that.
Yeah, and anybody appreciate that.
And if it has to be written in English, then that can be fixed. So don't worry about it at that stage, first stage.
So writing is the later stage of producing some academic work. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Dr.
You're welcome.